Hello and welcome to the FilmBunker podcast. My name is Nick and we're here to talk about movies and TV and all that stuff. And today I'm joined by 5 lethal protectors, and they are Simon Riot Hall, Karen Carnage Kerr, Kelsey Scream Clark, Ben Scorn Yaxley, and Matt Toxin Lind. And how are we all doing?
I got it.
I did.
I never do though. So
I got it. I like being Toxin. I don't know much about the character, but I will accept that, and also. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm not happy that I'm just Carnage again because I'm a redhead.
No. You were Carnage because of alliteration.
Yeah. Oh, that's way better.
That one was cool. That one was cool.
That is cool.
I don't know what this is, and I like not knowing. So let's just keep going.
Let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. I'll live in mystery. What was I? Scorn. Cool.
I think you were Scorn.
Cool. That works
I don't
for me.
remember what I was.
Yeah, you were Scorn.
Cool. That's great. I'm Scorn. Nice to meet you all.
Simon, you were Riot.
Cool.
You are a riot. To be fair.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, we all good? How we been this week?
Yeah.
Just struggling with our nicknames.
Doesn't bode well.
So why don't we go into the first piece of news for the week, and that would be Netflix has obtained the rights to the Narnia universe, and they're looking at doing films and books, but not books, films and TV shows.
Yeah.
Films and TV shows about the Narnia books is where I was going with that. Anyone got any opinions? I'm not a big Narnia fan. I don't.
Me neither, to be honest. It's fine.
I feel like Disney did the first one as much justice as it probably could have done the first one.
Really?
Yeah, I've read the books.
Yeah, the book is not great.
Alright.
Yeah.
Like I said, it did the most justice it could do to Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. There's not much else.
Well, I feel once you've got the content of the book, that's it. Like, you can't make more.
Well, you can.
Well,
it's just not good.
How many books is there? Like 6, 7?
Yeah. It's the first book isn't Lion, Witch and Wardrobe. The first book is like
Not
the
Lion, Witch,
tree.
and Wardrobe.
Harry Potter and the Lion.
Yeah.
Or it's the magician.
No, it's
the magician's nephew.
Yeah,
Yes, I
yes,
think
that's
so,
it.
yeah.
And it's
And
got
like
something to do
silver
with the
chair or
tree.
something as
Yeah.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is like the 3rd one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
And then we're
second
introduced
or
to those kids, and then they're in Prince Caspian as well.
Yeah.
And then they grow up, so they're not really involved except for Lucy, I think.
Yeah,
She's
Lucy's
in it for a little while.
There's cousins that come in and out.
Yeah.
God.
Memory.
It's complicated.
Eugene, doesn't
Sounds
he?
like a family reunion to me.
To be honest, I got the big book set of all of them. I tried to read the first one. It was just talking about this tree for a long time, so I was like, nah, I'll go to Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Read that, tried to read the other ones, and then stopped. But that's just me. I think it was just because it's trying to be this grand epic fantasy, but I don't think that as a series it has that much scope, and I feel like it's not something like Game of Thrones that has that darker, edgier, more realistic tone to it.
It's very light kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is,
I guess that's the intended audience, though. Like, is the
It's young adult, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think that's probably what they were going for. That you can have a universe like that, like Lord of the Rings, that is quite in depth and there's many layers and characters and stuff, and you leave people behind or people move on. But still for the audience that can handle it. I guess.
If they make it for young adults, I think it'll do fine for them.
What I saw mostly was people calling for an adaptation of the horse. Is it the
Horse and His Boy?
The Horse and His Boy, yeah. I read, I think maybe the start of that and dropped off it. I was just like, yeah, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've really seen. People saying that they want that, and that's really it.
I mean, do people want Narnia on Netflix? Like, is
I
there a
mean,
big
it's
audience? Is there a
their
big
own-
fan base for it?
Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't really know.
I
All
guess
saw
it's
was that.
fantasy, so it's pretty easy pleasing. You know, if
That's
you want
true.
something that's not that complicated to watch, you could just, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe was more of a thing when I was a kid. But
Same,
you don't
yeah.
hear of many people in that kind of fandom or anything.
No.
You don't hear of people that, there are Lord of the Rings fans. And, Narnia fans aren't really. People might like it, but I don't see anyone as
Die-hard
Yeah, a
shippers.
diehard.
It's kinda just
Probably is
there.
somewhere, but...
Yeah.
Narnians? Is that what they're called?
Oh, that's the easiest name for a fandom. Sucks that it doesn't exist. Or mine, I don't know.
I think that...
Say it's like a family reunion because
Oh, God. I got why it was a family.
my cousins are coming all the time.
Oh, no.
I almost stopped that. Next piece of news, anyway. I don't know if anyone has seen the photo that they released for the Mandalorian TV series that they're doing for. I think it's the Disney streaming
I think it's
service.
Disney streaming service. Yeah, you're right. I didn't see the photo. I know about it.
Can
Though.
show
So
you
the
photo
Mandalorian
quickly.
is canon because that was
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
good.
Yeah. Okay, I have seen that one.
And didn't what's his Favreau?
So
He release a thing as well in like traditional Star Wars scroll.
oh, did he? I didn't see that.
Okay.
No. I know that he's executive producing it. I know that he's definitely executive producing it, and what I wanted to tell everyone was a few of the directors that are slated to do the
Yes.
episodes.
I've heard these. Yep.
Yeah, so the first one is Deborah Chow, who did Jessica Jones. The next one is Rick Famuyiwa. I can't say that name.
Sorry if we butchered that name.
Yeah, who did Dope. And then you got Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh.
Oh,
Wow.
Directing.
Interesting. Gets better.
She did Soulmates. And then also Taika Waititi.
Yes.
Which would be cool.
I'm down.
That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so I reckon it looks interesting anyway.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Especially
Mandalorian series is interesting. Like it's, I understand why Disney kind of swept the slate clean. At the same time, there's so much rich stuff there that they can pull out and mine and do things with. And the Mandalorian, Boba Fett's overrated by fans, but underrated by the canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Yeah, and this one's going to be set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. So after Return of the Jedi, before
Right.
Okay. Which is nice to have a different
yeah,
time
it
period for a
is.
change. Like we
Thank
always seem
God.
to do that 3 and 4.
the gap that we were talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
cool.
pain in the ass.
It'll be interesting actually because that would be nice to see how the First Order sort of came about. Like I guess they would have just been on the break, like the Emperor's gone and everything, so they would have had to kind of scramble around to figure out who's next, and then Snoke must have peeked his little head out from somewhere as well. So
Thank goodness they didn't make that movie after the Emperor's dead and everyone's just like, I want to lead. No, I want to lead. I want to lead. And they do like the election process.
back to the Senate.
Back to the Senate. It's like, it's
By far the
episode 1
best
again.
parts of Star Wars.
It could just be like the books where he has a clone and he just comes back. That's even worse.
Wow.
Please no.
Well done, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Let's say he died, but also there is the exact replica of him alive.
Do we know what the any background on the focus, or like do we have a particular?
Just that it's a lone warrior going forward after the fall of the Empire. That's really it. He's
Who's
a Mandalorian
presumably in that
warrior.
photo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I assume that's him.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because there's not really meant to be many Mandalorians left anyway.
No,
It's kind of part
yeah,
of
they got
the...
That's the point of
fucked
it,
over,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think Boba Fett was originally meant to be the last one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're
they've
right.
kind
He
of...
was the last, and then they cloned him, made all the stormtroopers, and the first movies happened.
Well, no, Django was the one who got cloned.
Yeah,
But
Django was
Boba
cloned.
is the clone.
Yeah.
Django got his head cut off and looked like a right bitch. He looked like a real piglet.
So should we go into the next piece?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we're steaming through these because we want to get to Venom.
Yeah.
No, it's going to take half an hour. Let's be honest.
So the next thing is Black Mirror doing an episode where it's going to be kind of like a choose your own adventure thing. And I know Karen has plenty of opinions on this.
Oh, I think it's going to be really interesting, and it's great for Black Mirror to do because they have already done it on Netflix with a Puss in Boots little series that they did. They did a choose your own adventure episode for kids.
Okay.
So they've kind of tested it out on that. And Charlie Brooker, who's the creator of Black Mirror, has wanted to mess with the Netflix format a fair bit. He wanted to have one episode change every time he rewatched it.
Cool.
And things like that, but he ended up not being able to do that for money and things
Yeah.
like that and technology. So
It's just not. You can't do that, Charlie. It doesn't happen. What if everyone has an orgasm every time they watch Charlie? It doesn't work like that. You have to stop.
But you're Netflix.
Yeah.
You can do everything.
because he was talking about how being on the streaming format, he wanted to do something cool technology-wise as well, since it's a show about technology. I'm hoping that no matter if you're doing the Choose Your Own Adventure, apparently it's going to be set in the 80s, like in UK in the 80s.
Or is it? Is it going to be like
San Junipero or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know. He did say, though, that he is doing it. I think that it's going to be a very trying to make the audience feel bad kind of episode. So I think it's going to give you the options to choose some real bad choices and you see how far you go. I feel like that's probably the tack they're going to take with it.
Well, you kind of have to when you do that, because that's the whole point of giving you power to choose what you do.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of payoff.
There's
Otherwise,
stakes.
you just be like, oh, I can watch 2 episodes then, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
one where I took the wrong path and one where I took the right one. Like,
Yeah.
Be nice.
Every
be an asshole.
RPG from 2000.
I don't know how complex this is going to be either. Like, it's going to be a big undertaking because it's going to have to, if he wants to do it well, they're going to have to film like 3 episodes worth of content in order to
Yeah,
just
for sure,
awesome. I love
Um,
that idea.
yeah, in order to do it, because I'm hoping there's a lot of like streams that you can go down as well.
Yeah.
Where
hopefully it's not too narrow.
it's not just you either get one good ending or one bad ending, because it's. I feel like they could do more with it, but at the same time, it's a lot of filming time that he'll have to take.
And the algorithm would have to be like crazy good then if
Yeah.
you ended up with multiple.
I don't think it'd be that hard to do, to be honest, algorithm-wise.
Prove it then.
Sure, bring it on, bitch. Hire me, Netflix. Not really, no, because it's just like a branching system, pretty much.
Yeah, it'd be the same as like Detroit Become Human
Or any other.
You
yeah,
can trick
exactly.
you can trick people into it. Like you can.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because he also gets the privilege of being one of the first to really try to do that mainstream, which gives you that leeway to suck.
yeah.
Because no one knows anything else.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Honestly, it could suck, but then the rest of the Black Mirror season be great, and no one will give a crap.
Honestly, Black Mirror is one of the only shows left that if an episode sucks, if he tries something new and it completely fails, no harm done. Because he goes on to the next thing.
It's because it also helps that it's anthology, so
Yeah.
That as well, yeah. And you can
they
kind
can
of like
contained.
if there's any episodes that do suck, it's just because you tried experimenting with something and it didn't work, and it's like, look, you were brave enough to do it.
Like the last 6 years of my life, am I right?
No, I agree with that. I feel like the episodes that are the weakest also, I think people differ on their opinions of which episodes are the weakest. So I feel like he's not really made anything too bad yet in that series.
No,
because
nothing's
everything's
awful.
been of a high standard, and it's just kind of splitting hairs of what.
Storyline you would
the
enjoy.
worst episodes are just, they're only worse by comparison. Compared to anything else,
Yeah.
they're actually still pretty good.
Yeah.
100%.
So-
Ben. Sorry.
Game degree, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
Play that
everyone's
card.
favorite Black Mirror? Oh, I think we could do a
Black
podcast
Mirror?
on this. What's your favorite episode?
I'll say Callister. USS
Okay.
Callister, personally.
That's a great episode.
It's a
Yeah.
fantastic episode. I was really, as a gamer, obviously, I was really pissed off at the gaming episode they did in season 3, I think,
Yeah,
which
I
was
get that.
trash. It was fucking awful.
I didn't. No, it wasn't awful.
I was expecting more.
I can understand you
Yeah.
wanted more, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
That for me, that's one of the weakest episodes. But again, weak by
The
comparison.
USS Callister.
But the
That's
USS, the actual.
it's a great episode of television. Like you can kind of
Yeah.
watch that in isolation, even if
Oh,
you're
yeah,
a Black
absolutely.
Mirror fan.
Yeah.
And there's so many. We were talking about this the other day, and it's like this is a year on from when it aired, or nearly a year on, and there's just so many layers to it, and it's just.
Oh yeah.
It's so great
Every-
in what it involves, and so complex, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Every actor plays like 3 characters because they kind
Yeah.
of play themselves, and then they play like an aware version of themselves, and then they play this characterized version of
Yeah.
themselves, and it's like, oh jeez.
Yeah, that's easily
Oh,
my
my
favorite.
goodness. And those costumes.
Yeah. I would say probably I was gonna
Good
leaning
Callister as well.
towards Callister. I was very leaning towards Callister. I'm gonna say Shut Up and Dance though,
Shut Up and Dance is my second favorite.
because
Yeah.
Shut Up and Dance made me just at the end of it. I was hooked the entire time, and then that ending just blew my mind, blew my tiny mind.
Fucks you up.
It does.
It does, yeah.
And it's one of those things that hasn't really been done before
No.
that I can think of, where you are forced to empathize with a protagonist for an entire journey, and then right at the end, it's like, he's a paedophile. Well, how do you feel about that? It's long enough.
That's kind of the feeling that I hope they do with the new Joker movie.
Yeah.
I want them to fuck with you that way. I want them, I know the Joker. I love the Joker. He's cool. Walking Phoenix. Yeah, woo. And then, fuck, pedophile.
Yeah.
That'd be, oh, jeez, oh god, okay.
Yeah, but I think that was a risk that really paid off with that one.
That's my favourite episode too. And it's often ranked in the middle, but I think it's ranked...
Yeah, I don't know why.
I think it's because... it's very confronting.
It is.
Yeah.
And when
People don't like
watch
feeling like they
don't
just sympathise with the pedophile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when they're like, bottom list, and that's why it averages out, because I'll be like, this is the best, it's the worst, and it's that average.
I think it terrifies me about that episode, though, is that it can happen now, or it could happen
It's
a few
not.
years ago.
It's not that
It's
futuristic.
No, it's not.
No.
It could have happened 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the freaky thing I got from it.
And that Alex Lothar, he's such a great actor. Every role I've seen him in, he takes such a chance to be the pedophile, or to be the grown-up version of the cute kid, or to be the guy in love with the serial killer. He's always taking chances, and I loved him in that role. He did
He was really good.
job.
He was
really
fantastic. Absolutely.
Cool. Gee, I don't even know. I'm only like 3 seasons in, so I don't have that much to
It's
pick
all of it,
from.
really.
Well, that's it.
You're missing a season there.
Arguably one of the best seasons.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
You know, I liked the first episode.
That's-
I thought that was
National Anthem.
amazing.
Yeah.
That one's great too.
It's underrated because it doesn't pop like other episodes. But
Is that the pig fucking one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure is.
It was the thing
Here's
about
Kelsey's issue with pigs. She's always this fucking pig, the piglet bitch.
No, I feel that first episode, like the pig thing, also is just hilarious to me that it was prophetic.
It was.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that was really strange to me when that news
Just
came
imagine
out.
writing that and just being like, hold up, throw your whole hands up, and you're like, okay, I could not have done that better.
Yeah. But no, that I think it is confronting. It's the first one as well, so it shows you what you're doing. And I think that it doesn't get enough credit for what it did about the Twitter generation and public opinion and how easily swayed it is and PR.
Oh, that's right. That was the point of that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the point.
It was so long ago. Yeah.
We all get hooked up on the sexy things.
Yeah.
And we forget the message.
And doesn't it happen for like hours as well when it actually happens?
It happens for a long
It takes a long
while.
time, and
It's-
everyone's watching, and they're like, "Why are we still watching this?" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you see everyone's faces
It's
just
like,
turn.
Yeah.
It's the
why did-
initial spark of like, he's fucking a pig.
Yeah.
because
He's
yeah.
fucking a pig.
they all voted for it, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to see it," and then it's like, why did this isn't good?
And that's how Trump's president is. Like,
Yeah.
it's that same principle of how to be interested. Okay, no.
I'd have to go with either Hang the DJ or USS Callister. So bit of a...
What's Hang the G?
That's the one where
That's
it's
the love story.
It's like it's the one where they're in a simulation and they get like their matches.
Yes.
And then
Yeah,
right at the
yeah.
end you find out that obviously it's simulation. There's a spoiler there as well. And it's kind of like Tinder at the end.
Yeah, it
but
is,
it's
yeah.
like showing you the simulation itself.
They
with them.
climb out of it.
Yeah, so the end game is that they have to escape the simulation because they realize that they are in love or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
However you put that.
I liked that one
yeah.
for some reason. I don't think I remember liking the ending that much for some reason.
I
but-
liked the ending. I liked it. I
liked the rest of it, yeah, it was really good.
All of them are self-contained, but that's self-contained to the point of an algorithm.
Yeah.
So you get
is
the
cool.
story about an algorithm, basically, in the end. It's kind of a
Yeah.
contextualization of how that
That is
would
true.
look.
That is true.
I was too busy having sex with a pig. Really paying attention, but good episode, I'm sure.
Great song to end it on.
That was a great song, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was those really strong lead actors.
Yes.
Those
Yeah.
two who were in it. They carried that episode. for
They
sure.
did.
I can't remember. I just remember they were really good.
I'm not sure. Karen might look it up.
Yeah, I'm not going to look
Kelsey,
it up
what
now.
about you?
I don't know. I haven't watched much of it, to be honest, but the ones that I did watch because of recommendations, like they said, you know, watch this one, you'll really like it, was the same one that you were saying. The one I really liked that at the end, the mind fuck, I guess, right at the end where you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah. it affected me more than any show ever has, probably. Like
Like,
feeling
shut up
really,
and dance.
yeah,
Yeah.
feeling really
So
weird afterwards. And I feel like you guys will probably know more than me. It was like a social media type one where,
With Bryce Dallas Howard.
That one?
yeah,
Nosedive. Yeah.
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 Nosedive, yeah.
I really liked that one.
That one
That
was
was-
good. That one was really cool.
I didn't like that one. I appreciate, like,
Yeah,
I don't hate an
same.
episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
But it's probably my least favorite.
That's fair. I can see why.
Yeah.
I thought it was alright. It was just.
I
was
really
interesting.
liked
Yeah.
it,
I liked
but
it.
I can see that it appeals to particular people, and I can see that some people might see it as a little bit more shallow than the rest, but at the same time, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it especially because of its aesthetic and the way that it dealt with that aesthetic, and I really enjoyed the performance of Bryce Dallas Howard as
She's
well.
great.
Yeah, she's
phenomenal.
great.
And also it was a good return to form because Black Mirror wasn't on screens for a long time.
That's right. They had the big break.
Yes, because
Yeah.
it was an English show.
Yeah, that's when it jumped
And it
to
went to
Netflix.
Netflix.
And then it went to Netflix, and it was the first American episode, and I was really worried, but then I felt a bit better because Charlie Brooker was still in control of it. And I was a bit worried, though, because whenever British television is taken to America, it's slaughtered. But because he kept control of it, and Black Mirror is the show that can deal with different... They could do an episode anywhere, really. I thought that it was a good return to form for them.
And so surreal to see Charlie Brooker do that sort of stuff because he's been a comedian in the public eye for so long, and it's great to see any comedian doing something so focused and on point and sharp.
He was always very on point and sharp in everything he did, though.
Yes, yeah.
He did a lot of writing for comedy, but he did, a lot of work on kind of brass eye and things like that were very cutting edge.
Yeah. I just always see him, and I just always think, Bible man. If you look up Charlie Brooker Bible man, you'll have a good laugh.
I used to love a show that he did called TV Wipe, and he literally
Yes, yeah.
just would sit there. He'd go through like the week's television and recap it, but he would actually go into how television was made, and he would go quite deep into like the socioeconomic reasons for this particular TV show being there, what kind of rights they had, how much money it would take to make this one thing, and what that meant for the network and things like that. And it was really interesting, and it was just like a funny clip show.
He also did he did a show called no, that was Sean Locke, but he's done shows like that where he's sort of, what do you like about television, what don't you like about television? And he's kind of probed the feeling of television.
Yeah.
In all of his...
And now it's, I think, quite fitting that he's probed that, and now he's messing with it. He's obviously got such a good idea of what television is, and now we're seeing new things coming from him. So, going back to the first news item before we got derailed on the rankings, of our favourites.
Favorite episodes, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like with that Choose Your Own Adventure, him going and trying this out, it cannot be in better hands.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
anyone can do it.
If anyone can do it, I think it's Charlie Brooker.
Well, I know what you're saying. I agree to the extent that I'm sure there are plenty of people that can handle it. I don't think it's exclusively him, but I have faith in Black Mirror and I have faith in him.
Yeah.
So
It's a good platform to
Yeah,
get that episode
exactly.
out.
Oh, it uses streaming. That's a great way to utilize it. It's
basically
fantastic.
The
And it
point of the
feels-
show is just to fuck around.
It
with
suits it so
technology and
well.
do it in a
It
different way.
feels right. Like
Feels
you
natural,
can,
yeah.
you can fuck around with musical episodes and all that sort of stuff, and you can do those sort of off the cuff things, and you can have very talented people behind them. But it kind of feels right for Black Mirror to mess with your mum a bit. Like it works.
Yeah.
So going on to the last thing, I think Karen wanted to quickly just speak about the Good Omens trailer and about how great David Tennant looks in it.
He looks amazing. He looks great.
I looked at his face once.
Oh,
I was
Wait, what?
It was in a dream.
That got me. Oh man, that was
that's been a dream of mine for years. No, I've just wanted to touch his hair. No, I would say that he...
Of all things, his hair.
Yeah,
His hair
it
is
was-
glorious.
It's glorious.
No, I do understand.
We understand the hair. It's just in comparison to other things. Like, it's
Like, of all, if you could have one thing, it's the hair, apparently.
you're like, you don't understand. No, we do.
It's fucking hair.
Going away from my childhood love of David Tennant, going into adulthood love of David Tennant.
Oh my god, I'm old. I just realised.
Good Omens is a show that I have been personally waiting for since I was small. Like, I read that book when I was like 10. I was waiting for the adaptation since I was 12, I would say, because
What is Good Omens?
it is a book that was written by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
And it is about the impending apocalypse, and basically there are angels and demons, and one angel and one demon go, we don't really want the apocalypse to happen because we quite like coming to Earth, so they team up, try and stop it. Meanwhile, there was a administration error and the Antichrist ended up with a normal suburban family.
So it's basically reality.
An
It's,
administration error.
Yes, it is one of the cleverest books. It's hilarious. It's really charming. It's just a nice self-contained little book. They have had so many kind of issues trying to get a TV series off the ground because it was just going to be a mini series, but BBC were going to take it, then Terry Gilliam was going to do it, then Terry Jones was going to do it, and now then Terry Pratchett himself died.
so
He
many
left.
Terrys.
I know, they're all right.
Terrys upon Terrys upon
Yeah,
Terrys.
this is Britain.
Terry's all the
Terry's
way
and
down.
Benadryl cummerbunds. or
Terraces
whatever.
of
Benadryl.
So, Terry Pratchett unfortunately passed away, and he really wanted, Good Omens to go in good hands, and left it with Neil Gaiman. So Neil Gaiman's actually pretty much show running this himself.
Okay, cool.
It's going to be an Amazon Prime TV series. Yeah, it's I'll probably get it for that. Though.
I trust him. Like, Neil, has he been out of his stuff too much? Like, we've had this conversation before, I feel, and Neil Gaiman's kind of been shut out from his own work. And like,
No, that's Alan Moore that's been shut out of his own work.
Okay.
Neil Gaiman's actually been very clever. Most adaptations of his work are quite good.
Okay.
His biggest property is the Sandman comic series. That's never got an adaptation.
It was going to, and it had like Jason Gordon-Levitt
That's had a
attached.
similar story to Good Omens,
Yeah.
in the sense that they couldn't get it made because Neil Gaiman seems to care a lot about what goes on screen.
I did get confused between Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, they're both prolific comic book writers.
I just want to see them make out and have like a baby.
No, you
together.
don't. No, you don't.
Why?
You know what would that baby write? If
That's
he said
what
that.
I want to know.
That baby would write some fucked up shit.
Yeah, I know. No, it's something that's had a long and troubled production, but they got the best cast for it.
Yeah.
Any casting news that has come out about it has been incredible, and I watched the trailer today, and it just looks exactly like what I imagined when reading the book.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best compliments I can give it, because again, it's just going to be 6 episodes.
Who does Tennant play?
He plays the demon,
Demon?
Crowley, and Michael Sheen is going to play Aziraphale, who is the angel. John Hamm's going to be in it as the angel Gabriel.
Ooh.
Okay.
Of course he is.
I like
And
him.
my
I like
favourite,
him.
Francis McDormand is playing God.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Wow.
Yes.
Really cool.
Dame Francis. Even though she's not a dame.
No, she's a
she
dame in
is-
my heart.
We can tell.
Yeah,
She's
we
a
can-
dame in spirit.
A dame to be.
Yeah.
She's American, so probably not. But
No,
she's a
Dame to
Damon
be.
in the heart. No, so it's going to be... I am really keen for it. I can't wait for it to come out. I think the trailer was done really well.
How many episodes?
6. So it's...
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm not going to get Amazon Prime to watch this,
Can you get
even
like
if
the
it's
free
great.
trial or whatever?
I don't think I'm going to get Amazon Prime for anything.
It might be a Daily
Doesn't matter.
Motion job.
Yeah. I don't
Although,
know.
is it the Jack Ryan series that's on it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
the
think
Tom
you're
Clancy
right. Yeah.
Series. Yeah, that actually looks okay.
And Lord of the Rings is coming on it.
And Lord of the Rings.
The new
is
Lord of the Rings
Still
show.
no.
Do you just hate Amazon?
I just what? No, I just. There's too many streaming services.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, you're right.
It's
There'll be the Disney one, and then,
Netflix.
It's got to overtake something for you to like.
Yeah.
Some things will collapse eventually, and it'll just go back to Netflix.
Pretty much, yeah.
Reality.
Netflix will just buy everything, and then it'll just go on there again.
Yeah.
But after talking about something really nice, should we go into the turd of the wind of the week, which is Venom? That's a line from the movie, so you know. He calls someone a turd on the wind.
Yeah. Like a turd in the wind.
Turd in the wind.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all I need to know about that movie. Oh, boy.
No, this is going to be a conversation.
No, I'm just gonna sit back here. You probably heard the chairs, and I'm just gonna put my arms up and be like, "Alrighty, go for it."
So why did it happen?
Why did it happen? No, okay, so look, it wasn't absolutely fucking awful.
Okay.
The first like quarter of it was pretty fucking awful. Anything that didn't involve Venom was pretty fucking awful. Anything that didn't involve Tom Hardy was pretty fucking awful.
Let's be real. Even the things that involved Tom Hardy were pretty fucking awful, but they were entertaining awful.
Yes, okay. That's the conundrum. So I went into this going, I want it to be either really shit and funny,
Yes.
or good.
Actually good.
Yeah.
Actually,
Wasn't expecting it to ever be good.
No.
Was basically just going, this is going to be really shit and funny. If it's boring, I'm going to be upset because then there's not going to be anything to say about it because then it's just going to be like,
Suicide
it was,
Squad to me.
It was
is
just boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah, there's not much to say about it then. Whereas this was just shit funny because Venom's lines just come out of nowhere in this deep voice and they're just hilarious.
I like salami.
There's a bit
Shut up, Venom.
Yeah, literally, it may as well be that because there's many times where he just randomly goes, "I'm hungry," and it's just like, okay. Or there's like one great one where he's in the office of this guy he broke into, this guy's office he broke into, and Venom's like, "Jump out the window" to get away. And then it just cuts to Tom Hardy waiting for the elevator, and then you just hear Venom go, "Pussy."
I loved that line.
Yeah, I know. Like,
That's my favourite
they
line.
they were the best parts of the movie because they were so dumb.
I can very safely say that I'm ready to kill myself after hearing them. The best parts of the movie.
So do
Goodbye.
we want to round?
I'll be a pussy. I'll fucking jump off the set.
Do we want to round up for you guys who haven't seen it of kind of the plot at least?
I don't particularly care, but do it for
I think
the
it would be
listeners.
necessary,
I think that's
yeah.
good.
I think I know enough, but yeah, go for it anyway.
Okay, so without too many spoilers, basically there's the Life Foundation run by a guy who's trying to be Elon Musk but really isn't. He sends spaceships into space, finds symbiotes. It opens very similarly to, say, Spider-Man 3, where the spaceship comes down, crashes, and then the symbiotes are there. Spider-Man 3, obviously, it's a little comet, though, whereas this is spaceships landing. He takes the symbiotes to San Francisco. From there, Eddie Brock's a reporter. He's not a reporter. Tom Hardy is fucking awful as a reporter. He's not believable.
Oh, that's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to know.
He is not believable as a reporter at all. Anyway, he ends up interviewing the guy from the head of the Life Foundation, so I forgot his name. He fucks up, and in the interview, the guy ruins his life, and he loses his wife at the same time as losing his apartment and his job. This is in the first, 10 minutes.
Oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so it's really funny because the start of it feels like it's taking forever, but so much happens in that period. All of the, setup and everything happens in this, period at the start, obviously, but it feels slow but fast at the same time. It's really odd.
yeah.
The scenes are really quick, but it just slogs on until you get to when he finally meets Venom. Anyway, so after he loses his wife and all that, this scientist has objections with what's going on. The guy's experimenting on humans, like homeless people. There's a weird kind of... They decided to latch onto the idea of the poor,
one of the worst lines in this is she says, this scientist takes Tom Hardy aside and says to him, he's taken poor people and they don't know what they're reading.
Yeah, they don't know what they're signing up for. It just literally says poor people.
Yeah,
Not even
poor people.
homeless people and downtrodden, just poor people. Just,
And they can't read, apparently.
Yeah, she literally went, they don't know what they're signing. They can't read what they're signing. It's like, wait, what?
So from there, anyway, he ends up deciding to break into the facility with her, and that's where he meets Venom. Venom latches onto him. He goes home. Then it's just a convoluted mess of action scenes for about half an hour.
Cool.
Just non-stop that don't make any sense.
Cool.
He goes back to the newspaper place to be like, oh, look, I was right, but no one's there. That's when he goes into the building.
I like how you said
Come back in business hours.
Yeah, pretty much.
You said
20
no
minutes of Venom
spoilers.
just sitting out the front.
Yeah.
Do people care?
No, I wasn't going to spoil the end. That's all.
Literally, that was the entire movie in my head. There's no way of spoiling things for it because really...
Yeah.
Well, is he
Nothing.
coming back? Are they going to do a Spider-Man crossover? What's the
I think that's the
happy
dream.
hacks?
I mean, Tom Hardy signed on for 3.
Yeah.
And I think
Oh,
they would
poor
like
man.
that to
Poor
happen.
man.
Oh, it's making money.
Let's
It's
make-
making
Of
some
course it is.
moolah.
Of course it is.
Is it really?
Yeah. So basically,
It
this
looked
is...
shit.
I know.
Like like I would expect my cousin, who's got no clue what spaghetti is, and he comes all the time because it's a family reunion.
Oh my god.
And it's and he'd be like, "This movie looks terrible. I'm not going to go to it." But all the people are going to this movie.
No, the thing is with it, like, what they've tried to do, Sony have the rights to all of the Spider-Man host of characters, which is a massive amount of characters. So what they've tried to do is their
least
business model is now they're doing their own little universe of Spider-Man character films. So they've got Venom, they've done Venom. They've got a couple of sequels for Venom slated.
That Morbius thing is actually going
Yeah,
to happen.
Morbius
Yeah.
with Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Black Cat, Silver Sable. They're going to do female team-up movies, anti-hero movies, villain origin stories is what they're saying. Basically, they're trying to get the gaps in the market that Marvel don't have.
3 movies is ambitious though. Like, okay, there is a really good Venom. I love Venom. He's my favorite Marvel character. 3 movies is really ambitious.
Yeah.
Especially when you fuck up the
The thing is, they're making money. It's got...
That's the thing. I don't think it was that bad. I don't think it was a masterpiece. For me, it was like slightly better than Spider-Man 3.
Cool, that was my question.
But a similar
Venom-
Be
vibe.
slightly better than Spider-Man 3
That's a low bar.
provides
That's a low
no
bar.
clarity.
But that's the thing, though. People
Whatsoever.
are kind of going, "Oh my god, it's so bad." It's like we've been spoiled
No.
for a long. Just listen.
Is it
listen
better
first.
than a cactus in the sphincter?
So,
See what
I
you've done,
think
Nick?
we have been spoiled with Marvel films. They've
Okay,
kind of
that's
nailed the formula. And now this Sony version is kind of like they kind of forgot how to write scripts.
Yeah, they did. Literally, it's all about saving the Earth, right? In the end, I know I said no spoilers.
Captain Venom.
I know I
He's
said.
here.
I know I said no spoilers, but fuck it, I already ruined it. Ken's right. Because you need to hear this. So one of the symbiotes latches onto the bad guy, and it's all about stopping him going back to space to get millions of symbiotes that are going to attack the Earth. But halfway through the movie, when just after kind of Eddie latches on, there's a whole scene where Venom's like, "You're along for the ride. I'm not going to kill you, but I'm just going to go
Using
back
you.
to I'm using you." But he even says like he's going to go bring an army and bring down and destroy the Earth himself, right? And then 20 minutes later, he changes his mind. And he's just like, yeah, so I want to save the Earth now. And Eddie's like, why? And he's like, because I was kind of a loser on the symbiote planet, just like you're a loser on
fucking
Earth.
kidding me?
That is
They
the
made
reason.
Venom a loser.
Are you
Oh,
fucking kidding me?
fuck you, Sony. Oh, I'm coming for you. You have no idea. Zack Snyder's going to protect you.
The good part of
That's how vulnerable you are.
Thing is, this is the good part of the movie because it's so dumb. This is what makes it enjoyable because it's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Honestly, at the end of the movie, at the beginning of the movie, I was watching it just cringing. There's this entire scene where the Elon Musk type character kind of is in his facility, and this little girl tries to ask a question, and all of her peers shush her, and he goes
this
on this
scene.
long
Oh my God.
speech about never let anyone silence you. Meanwhile, not getting her question from her, then they say, oh, the reporters are here, and he goes, all right, someone else will answer your question, and walks off.
Always use your
that is-
diaphragm. Take your pill. Venom. What the fuck?
And then that was about a good few minutes of screen time. 3 or 4 pages of script were put onto
Venom
that.
says, eat your vegetables, kids.
I know. And the beginning of the movie was cringe-worthy in the sense that it just didn't work. Tom Hardy's performance was so likable because
I'm sure he was great.
No, because the thing is, I feel like he's becoming the new Nick Cage. You can't put your finger on him.
Yeah.
You can't put your finger on his performances.
He is similar in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
I like
quite-
that comparison because I don't hate Nick. I'm not a Nick Cage hater. I think he's very, very good. And then all of a sudden you realize he's Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way it's going with Tom Hardy. I hate Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy has got that vibe about him. And again, Nick Cage, there's a genius to Nick Cage that can't
absolutely.
be replicated, that I feel like Tom Hardy's getting his own brand of that. So the entire time, I was loving watching him. But right at the end
Except for the movie.
No, but the thing is, at the end, by the time I got to the final credits, and it has him and Venom walking down the street, kind of half happy ending, we're only going to kill bad people
Gay
now.
marriage, Venom and human, making it happen.
But they were just walking down the street, and then it's okay, we're gonna go just kill bad guys now. I wanted the sequel then and there because I'm you know what, this is just getting good.
There's only one.
Yeah.
There's only one movie I've ever wanted to keep going, and that was Mission Impossible Fallout, and that's the only movie that I'll accept as an immediate
As a
sequel.
6-hour movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Mission Impossible Fallout, I wanted to sit and watch
Venom,
forever.
I think Venom can die in a hole.
No, I didn't want to sit and watch it because I loved what I just experienced and wanted more of it. I wanted to watch more of it because it was just getting good. It just got to a point.
Yeah, no, it
where
took
it was
the
good.
last scene for it to be I can follow this character. Everything's set up for him. All of the backstory is all fucking garbage. But once he's actually Venom,
it's
he's okay.
cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense why they made him supposedly a good reporter, because there is literally a scene where the head of the news network he works for says, "You're the best investigative journalist around." And it's there is no possible way Tom Hardy is the best investigative journalist around. They showed a clip of
I
him.
believed him as that.
I love how that's the
I
thing
heard
that
that.
pisses you off the most. Yeah.
There's one other thing. I don't like that he doesn't have the spider symbol on his chest.
Yeah, fair.
It looks odd.
I
It
get
looks-
that. Yeah,
he's
with
just this-
Venom.
yeah,
Because
'cause-
Venom's supposed to have that
Big white symbol.
whiteness.
Yeah. So he's black, but he's got kind of white veins along him. But it doesn't. It's not really obvious.
I don't
It'd probably
like
come the
because
next
I
movie.
actually you say a small point, but I really
Yeah.
that would freak me out.
Yeah, it
because
looks odd.
Carnage was always symbiote all the time. I
Yeah.
didn't like that aesthetic. I liked Venom having
The
a suit.
symbiotes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
took me
got
like
it.
half an hour.
Yeah, that was 43 minutes.
Awesome.
Wow.
Wow.
I have a bachelor's degree.
No,
In symbiology.
I do believe that if Sony want to make a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man in it that much,
They should
they
try hard.
There was 2 references, if you're looking for references to Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was looking. The thing is, Venom to me is so intrinsically weaved into Spider-Man that there needs to be some kind of. There had to be a little bit more of a link in this film. I'm not asking for Tom Holland to show up in this first film.
I know what you mean. Just set it in New York and have Jameson. Or
Oh,
something.
okay, so that's the link.
Okay.
So you know how J. Jonah Jameson's son, he's another,
Yeah,
he has 4 J's in his
Yeah.
name too. He's an astronaut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the astronaut that died right at the start, I don't know if you noticed, his name is Jameson.
Well,
That's just a small link.
That just sucks because we haven't even met J. Jonah Jameson in the
Yeah.
Marvel Universe yet, and now his son's died, and it's
Yeah. So there's-
No, your son doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. And then there's also the link, they mention New York, about him being run out of New York because something happened at the Daily Globe, which I don't remember if it's actually a newspaper in the Marvel Universe.
I think it is.
No, the Daily Bugle's the one that Spider-Man and
but is it?
But I don't remember.
Familiar.
No, the Daily. You might be thinking of the Superman one.
Yeah, the
Maybe.
Daily
Daily
Planet.
Planet.
That's
Maybe.
Daily Planet. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I can't remember if it might be a rival one
Right,
that Eddie worked for or not.
yeah.
I'm forgetting that. Yeah, but they were the two references to Spider-Man,
Yeah, but
which
why
were
wasn't
tiny.
it in New York? Is he always in San
I
Francisco?
think no. I think they wanted to kind of separate it from Spider-Man very clearly.
I
Yeah.
think so too. Yeah,
I
that
do-
was chosen for a reason.
Yeah, I just think that I know that they're trying to do their own thing with the characters and the host of characters that Spider-Man has, but you can't just with something like Venom. I find that it just felt a little bit off for me, knowing how the Spider-Man universe works.
Oh, I was waiting for Venom to start kind of web slinging constantly because he does.
Yeah.
Web
Yeah,
slings.
he's got his
So
shit
I'm
around.
like constantly like, why is he not like even when he's not like in symbiosis with Peter, he's still web slings. So I'm like, wait, he's not moving properly.
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't look properly because he doesn't have the symbol. And
Yeah.
it wouldn't be right.
It's still it's not a big that's not really a big part. That's just a very small thing.
No, but that's the sort of
Yeah.
thing that I would want in my Venom.
Yeah.
As a fan, I want my Venom to be the hyper Spider-Man he was in the comics and the cartoon. And if he's not, then fuck Sony.
Yeah, but this is the thing I feel is the problem with it, with Sony's whole plan, is that the tentative deal, well, it's not a tentative deal, the deal they have with Marvel has really worked in the sense that Spider-Man Homecoming is an MCU film. And they're trying to branch off on their own and make their own movies out of the Spider-Man universe. But Spider-Man's in a little pocket in the MCU now, so it wouldn't, I don't think, hurt Marvel, because Marvel don't have to have those Spider-Man characters in it, but it wouldn't hurt Marvel to kind of allow like a little leak in that pocket to go, here's how the other ones kind of fit in, and there's a sense of a broader world.
Yeah.
Just as, I'm not asking
think-
for
no,
Captain
no,
America
no.
to show up, but just a sense of
I just think
this
they
is where
should
it's placed.
Give it back to sell it back, get your money back.
I think-
No, they've got too much. The deal that they made with Marvel has given them.
Do you want Eminem's
Far more.
ear? Like, you want his mouth, you want his tongue, you want his rap voice. You don't want his ear. They've got the earlobe of the Marvel universe.
I feel like-
it's
I do feel
I got
like
you now.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
get
weird.
it. It's a weird analogy.
It's a weird.
No, I feel like with Marvel, especially, I feel like people forget that Sony made Spider-Man Homecoming. People forget that because
Oh no, but
they choose
was-
to forget it because it was a good movie
Yeah.
and Sony shit. And that's their problem.
I feel like
but
if
Marvel
Sony,
was way more heavily involved.
It was-
yes,
yeah,
it was
it was a
way
joint
more
kind of
heavily.
effort.
It was a joint effort, but I wish they learnt something. I wish they.
I think they learned a
did
little bit
more-
because it wasn't a kind of absolute trash
no.
in aspects.
Yeah,
like,
I
in some aspects.
I feel like when we have got a Spider-Man out there now, who's part of the MCU, it's just a bit disorienting to see Venom on his own in a separate city, doing some stuff. You don't really see... I honestly, by the end of that movie, do not know whether Eddie Brock is in any kind of trouble with the police, because
You know what?
people were around all the time,
I
and they saw him, and it wasn't like he was masked or he was Venom the entire time. He did quite public spectacles. Is he in trouble?
Eddie becomes kind of hunted by the police anyway in the comics.
Exactly, but I don't know whether at the end of that movie
He is
that's
a
where
criminal.
it was.
And you know what? I haven't seen the movie and I don't care. That's the problem. Sony sucks
Yeah,
at doing this. They don't. You're exactly right. They've created this character with no consequences, no stakes, and it's DC. It's the same problem. They just can't.
Yeah. And you got to the end of the movie and I felt like there was no real reason to care about too many of the characters. There wasn't very much character development really in it. As much as they tried to jam in, there was no kind of really clear links.
Oh, the girlfriend, the girlfriend,
Fiancé.
fiance, ex-fiance. She was, and the thing is, Michelle Williams isn't a bad actress or anything.
I think she just needed a new wing in her condo, so she was like, "Oh, I'll just take
Yeah,
this one."
it was literally.
I'll take this up the arse of the team. Like, Michelle, no one's talking about anal. Like, why? No, seriously, it's going straight up my.
Honestly, this is her arc, right? If you want to see her as a character arc, her arc is she is having a beautiful relationship with Tom Hardy. Eddie, sorry.
Oh, of course, as you would
it's
be.
great. It's beautiful. Like, they're going really well. She asked him to feed a cat like 5 times.
Yeah.
They have a cat.
Okay.
And they have a record player. I think it's a Sony one because they kind of showed
nice.
it for a while.
That's nice.
And then he takes her a document from a computer that makes him do this horrible interview, and she's a lawyer. So then she ends up like dumping him, literally by giving him her ring back and going, "We're finished now."
Yeah, there's
End
no
of.
conversation.
No
It's just,
conversation.
done.
We're just finished now. Goodbye. She leaves. Then 6 months later, she's with a guy who's really quite nice, has a bit of personality. His name's Dan. He's a doctor.
Aww.
I know.
You
She's with him.
sound so interesting, Karen, in everything you say, but God damn
Yeah.
it, you're making this movie sound so
It's horrible.
boring.
She's with Dan. Then Eddie comes back up and they try and give him medical help. There's no real reason why. Like, he comes to her house because he misses her. She's like, "Sorry, I'm with Dan now, go away." And then suddenly he calls her up and he's like, "I've got this weird disease." Oh, he goes and sees them while they're on a date and he acts really weirdly and he starts eating some lobsters and it's a big thing. And then she's just suddenly like, "Okay, I want to help
Why
you now."
am I suicidal all of a sudden? I haven't even seen this movie.
Yeah, it's horrible. And then she ends up. There's one line.
So they end up being friends, basically, in the end.
They end up being friends, but she ends up kind of. There's one line where they say Venom and Eddie, because she finds out about them both, says to her, "You can't leave. You can't come with us to fight these bad guys. You have to stay here to stay safe." And I think Sony were trying to put feminism in there because she said, "I can come," even though she's just a lawyer. She has no experience with anything dangerous. And then she goes, "I can fight." And they're like, "No, you can't.
She goes
Stay
to jiu-jitsu
here."
once a week. She can fight. What are you talking
Just
about?
a lawyer girl.
And then she ends up going to kind of Deus Ex Machina, the noise that makes Venom go crazy, to make them go crazy or whatever. But really, that was her whole lot. She goes, "I can fight out nowhere." And then ends up becoming kind of friends with him, but she's still kind of with Dan, but still kind of likes him. And you're just at the end like, why is this love interest relationship so complicated? And you've only been on screen for 7 minutes together. Like,
burn it all down. That's my advice.
I'll let Kelsey say a few things because she's actually done the written review.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Kelsey
I don't
saw
think
the
I
movie.
want to anymore. I think what's been said has been said. And no one agrees with me, so let's just move on.
Look, I didn't hate it. I thought the best parts were the dumb parts with Venom. Everything else was kind of boring.
Yeah, I think
I
there was
didn't hate it.
scripting issues and like lots of issues with pacing. I hated the relationship. Absolutely zero chemistry between Tom Hardy and Michelle. I think the best parts were the Venom and Eddie Brock team up moments. They were by far the best. But yeah, I didn't really think that the villain was good. I also forget his name. I was like, I get that they're going for something. They were kind of going for like this god complex mad
When they get
scientist
like
thing.
this skinny guy to fight Tom Hardy, it's like there is no concept anywhere that he could win over Tom Hardy.
Yeah. And I think, and just like the fight at the end, I didn't really enjoy because it was really full on.
Really
and
blurry
messy.
too.
Yeah, like I didn't know who was winning.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot of the lore with Venom, so I didn't also know like how they could win against each other. Like I knew their weaknesses from the movie with the certain sounds, and fire was made very clear
They're the
with
two
a
weaknesses.
dodgy line.
Yeah.
But I was, when they were fighting together, I was like, I don't know who's winning and I don't know how they will win. And I was just kind of watching black shit move across the screen.
The one bit I liked was when they merged together in that fight because it was actually clear. The rest of it was really blurry. And I feel like that might have happened because of the whole R to PG thing. I think maybe they had to kind of cut some things out and tone some things down. And it made that fight and actually a few of the fights really hard to keep track of what was happening with the symbiote.
Yeah, true.
Especially when he's fighting another symbiote because it's two dark colours.
Yeah, two
just
dark
smashing
colours,
against
just like,
I'm very sorry. But just hearing you say, keeping track of the symbiote in the movie about the symbiote is a big fucking problem.
It is.
It was really hard to work out what Venom was doing with Venom.
But that's our thoughts on
Yeah,
Venom.
so that's Venom for you.
So solid 4 out of 5 stars, you reckon?
Oh yeah. Totally.
Dame Venom.
It's enjoyable when you finally get to Venom just for the bits with Venom.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
And then
it.
that's about it.
Yeah.
I give it 1 parasite.
Or did it give you a parasite?
I'm giving it right back.
I've got a fucking parasite. I haven't seen it and I won't. I'm pregnant with parasite.
If I had to rate it, I'd give it 1 or maybe 2 parasites.
It's just so fucking like I completely get how you get to a point where he's Venom. Just do it then. Like start with that instead of explaining it. Like
Yeah. It was definitely like an origin story. I feel like I
It's
just
like-
need.
I'm fine with an origin story. I'm fine with that.
Origin stories
didn't
are
like
great,
it.
but if you can't tell the origin story, just have him be Venom and fuck shit up and make it good. Anyway, bunker battle.
Well,
Please.
I was gonna wrap, but if you want to do a very quick one because we are running long.
All right, I will do a very quick one. I'll just do it between 2 people this time for chilling out with
okay.
us in the bunker.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'm actually going to do it with Tom Hardy and Nick Cage because I think that's going to be an intense experience either
This is
way.
going to take another 40 minutes.
I'll go first. I'm gonna go Nick Cage. I really like his performance adaptation. That's it.
I'm gonna back Matt up with Nick Cage because he's a big comic book fan and also
actually.
he just seems like a chill guy.
I think he's.
Does he?
I'm gonna go Tom Hardy because I fucking hate Nick Cage.
Wow.
The fiery
Interesting.
passion.
I'm gonna,
He's your Brie Larson. Wait, no,
He did not take a
come
punch
on.
in the
Zack
face.
Snyder.
Zack Snyder, yeah. I'm going to go
like
Tom
that.
Hardy because Tom Hardy likes dogs. He seems sweet. He's quite nice.
All those things could be said about Nick Cage. I'm just saying.
No, I'm going to go Tom Hardy because
I feel
Nick
like you
Cage
get more
might
weird stories with Nick Cage
Yeah.
too. Lots of like really surreal.
He
weird
likes
shit.
Cloppy the horse.
You just never know what you're gonna get with Nick Cage.
That's
Like,
true.
I feel
you're
like
not
after
a
a
good
while-
actor.
He beats
and then,
But
and
you
then
not-
he does something.
You
and you're
don't
like,
know what you're gonna get with Nick Cage, but you don't get what you want with Tom Hardy.
Yeah, but at least you know. At least you know you're going to be
Yeah.
disappointed.
Hey, I get what I want with Tom Hardy.
Yeah, so would I.
I'm going to go with Tom Hardy because I think Judi Dench and John Hamm would like him better, and I think they would and I think that's best for us. So
Flawless logic.
that's my
You
answer.
can do this.
I'm
Come
going
on,
Nick Cage for conflict.
We should never leave you two last.
Yeah.
I wait on purpose, that's why.
Any particular
Oh,
ones?
dice.
Yeah,
Like,
dice.
it's just like, we need dice.
Okay,
I
I-
don't know which dice.
So I always lose, so someone else roll for me.
I'll roll.
You roll, you
so
roll.
what do I do? What do I do?
Just roll and hope you
Who's
get a high
rolling
number.
for?
Oh, well,
okay.
it's done.
Yeah.
You got an
Eight.
8.
Yeah, roll underneath that.
Yes,
Oh,
yes!
Simon crits.
That's like 3 Tom Hardys.
Crits on Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Someone.
You suck!
So you get 2.
I would have done worse.
You
never
get
mind.
2 Tom Hardys.
Awesome. Okay, so
Yes, nice.
I'm actually
Tom Hardy.
That's,
See,
a-
I would rather
Free
2
to
Tom
us.
Hardys than 1 Tom Hardy.
that's actually the result I wanted.
I would be disappointed by 1 Tom Hardy, but I feel like 2 Tom Hardys would get me off somewhere.
Okay. With
And
3
on that
Tom
note,
yeah, pretty much.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of mess of a podcast, like,
Just like
subscribe,
Venom.
and yeah, exactly, just like Venom. Leave a review, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Here's this podcast.